You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Hello, welcome to another juicy episode of Unstoppable Actors. I'm really excited for today's episode because we're going to be diving into all things showreels, or if you're in the States, you call it a demo reel. I really want to explore this with you because there are so many actors who waste time, money, effort and energy on showreels that simply do not do what a showreel should do, which is to pique interest in you as an actor from the casting director, from the director, and essentially get you called either into the room for an audition or a self-tape request. Now, before I share this with you, on Sunday the 23rd of February, I delivered a business of acting workshop called Raise Your Profile, Book More Roles, and it went down an absolute storm. The actors who were in the workshop learnt so much about how to advance their acting career, and their enthusiasm and motivation and inspiration was felt literally in outer space come the end of the workshop. Now, it wasn't recorded, but there have been a lot of requests for it to be recorded. So I am going to do something that I wouldn't normally do. I am going to re-record this workshop and I am going to make it available for free for 48 hours only. So if you want to get your hands on the best business of acting exercises that most acting coaches are keeping under lock and key, then what I need you to do is come over to Instagram, go to the DMs and DM me the word replay. And our Instagram page is at Standby Method Acting Studio, and I'll leave it below for you underneath where you've pressed play so you can do that. You're not going to get a link to it in the next podcast episode. So if you want the replay of this workshop, go over to Instagram, DM me the word replay, and make sure you carve out 90 minutes of your time. It's going to get deleted. And this is a workshop that I only run once a year, so I highly recommend you requesting the replay. It's not costing you anything. 90 minutes of your time, that's it. And you're going to get loads and loads of marketing techniques. Now let's go back into showreels. Showreels are one of my favourite things to talk about because actors are unintentionally, well, not necessarily getting them wrong, but not quite hitting the mark with them. And I want you to have a showreel that you're proud of. I want you to have one that you cannot wait to send off to casting directors and directors. And I want you to have one that you don't hide after the initial flurry of excitement, one that you just cannot wait to share, but also one that does what it's supposed to do, because a showreel or demo reel is one cog in your marketing machine, and you have to think with a business hat on when it comes to your showreel. So there's so many questions around showreels. How long should they be? What footage should go first? How many scenes? What order should the scenes go in? And it can send us into a big overthinking loop. And that can actually cause us to procrastinate, or it can do the opposite. And we can go in all guns a-blazing and get it completely wrong, waste money, waste time, waste energy, waste effort. And then the thing about showreels is because they're quite a big bulky part of your marketing materials, then we let months and months and months go by before we get one that's actually effective and does what it should do. So the thing I need you to know about your showreel is that it is like a shop window. Good shop windows put their best sellers and the latest trends in there. Good shop windows are decorated well to get you to stop, look, and hopefully go in the shop. Now, if it is a good shop window, you will go in the shop. Your showreel should be doing something similar. It should be getting casting directors and directors to stop, look, and watch, and then make contact either directly with you or with your agent if you have one. And as I've already mentioned, the business of acting requires you to think like a business, which means you have to get really intentional with your showreel. Now, when I got my first showreel together, I had no idea. Nobody taught me what I'm about to teach you. I didn't think like a business. I got one cobbled together by a director who I put my trust into, who now, upon reflection, wasn't even thinking about the intention of my showreel either. That director was literally looking for a quick buck. And my God, didn't it show in the showreel? It got me absolutely nowhere, despite the fact that I had a scene in it that I had shared with an A-list actor. And that's how bad the showreel was. However, I reflected, I learnt from that experience, I put thousands of pounds into learning about business, and my next showreel worked because I'd invested. Because really, what I was thinking about this next time of getting a showreel is, actually, this is going to get me paychecks, this is going to land me work, this is going to advance my career. But for me to be able to achieve those goals with a showreel, I had to be intentional. So I would love to pass the lessons on to you that I learned to save you making the mistakes I did. So the first thing I decided is, what is my brand? What is my brand, and how do I want this to come across in my showreel? And I decided I would have scenes written for me that were of a similar ilk to the productions that I am aiming for, and that tie in beautifully with what I decided my brand would be. The second thing I did is I got very, very, very intentional. I know I keep using this word intentional, but it is so important. I got very intentional, and I gave a super strong brief of the characters I wanted to play based on what my casting type is, which fits into my brand. And then the third thing I did is I decided, actually, I don't want a long showreel that would bore the viewer to tears. So I purposefully asked for 2 minutes because I massively believe less is more. And I know in marketing, we have to give a little teaser, a little taster to entice our target audience. And then the final thing I did is I got coaching on my acting. Yes, even though I am an acting coach, I need coaching too. I can coach myself so far. I know exactly what method acting exercises I need to be using for the different depths of the character. You know, I know what to use for emotional connection. I know what to use for character building. But what I do need, which I can't give myself, is an outside eye on my work with feedback on whether it's landing or not. So I went and paid for coaching on my acting. So as you can hear, I've thought about both the business side of acting and the craft side of acting, because the two go hand in hand, they work together. So here's your showreel plan. This is what you need to do. Get intentional. Decide what your casting type is. Decide the characters you're likely to get cast in, that you also enjoy playing, and fill your showreel with these. And have scenes that are geared towards the types of productions you want to be in. Now, I personally knew this had worked when the agent I'm currently represented by offered me a place on their books, and he said he liked my showreel and that he could see me in Waterloo Road. Well, that's perfect, because one of the productions that I'd written on the scene brief is that I would like a scene similar to something from Waterloo Road. So I didn't do a scene from Waterloo Road because I don't believe in doing that. I had scenes written specifically for me, but it worked. The second thing is to get coaching on your acting so you deliver killer scenes. We want your target audience watching your showreel absolutely bloody blown away by your talent. So get coaching on your acting once you have the scenes. And this is way before filming because we want to be prepared. Please do not scrimp on this. In business, we have a term called return on your investment. So when you invest in killer acting coaching, you will see that return in more audition offers, more role offers, and paychecks for your acting work. Now, I do offer one-to-one sessions and I would love to coach you. So I've left the link in the description. You can go and read up on what I offer inside of my one-to-one sessions, and you can book one with me from there as well. The third part of your showreel plan is to consider the length. I want you to keep it as short as you can whilst still being impactful. Now, I paid for a showreel. I didn't bother faffing around because I was returning from a break, probably about a 5-year break. I didn't have any recent up-to-date work, and I thought, no, I can't be bothered getting casting things and then waiting what could be like a year for scenes. I wanted to take the bull by the horns and get stuff done now. That's how important my acting career was. So I paid for a showreel. And I specifically said, it needs to be no longer than 2 minutes. Any longer than that, I'm not interested. So I paid for the showreel. I paid for the acting coaching to make sure my acting was on point. I'd done all of the method acting prep work for the character to get me into the character, to get me connected. All of this got me cast in a film that made me back 5 times financially what I'd initially paid out. And now that film is bringing in other opportunities. More doors are opening, and it can do the exact same for you. And I'm sharing this with you because if money is a bit of a worry for you, I want to reassure you that when you invest, you get things back. So I hope this has been useful. If you follow this showreel plan, you will have a showreel you are proud of, feel good about, but one that gets you your foot in more doors. And just to remind you, I am recording that free Business of Acting workshop tomorrow morning, and it is only going to be available for 48 hours to watch on replay. So if you want to get your hands on that to learn more things similar to what I've been sharing in this episode, and to go deeper into the business of acting and branding and marketing and, all the goodness that stops you blending in with every other actor, then come across to Instagram, which is at Standby Method Acting Studio, DM us the word replay, and as soon as that replay is ready, I'll get it sent out to you. Hope you've enjoyed this. See you again soon.
I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.